Kristen, April, and we're back for our final challenge of the week. Now, we've all been talking about we want lessons to be fun, but we also want them to be, well, we want to be able to give our kids what they need. And I wanted to show you a little bit what we did today with our vocabulary words, because our last challenge was to come up with some vocabulary words with your theme. I brought all of my kids together, and one thing that I did when we were going to go over the spring packet, I asked April if we could do a packet just for our first graders, because I saw that with my third graders, they're ready to move to fourth grade. My K-5, they're rocking it. They're ready to move to kindergarten. But my first graders, they just weren't comfortable in the writing, and they're not growing like I really wanted them to grow. So what I did with my kids today is I chose, I think I had four. I had 4 words, 3 to 4 words from our vocabulary that I decided to focus on. I brought them all on the mat, and I said, hey everybody, today we're going to be, actually for the next week or two, we're going to be learning about spring. So I want to tell you a little story with our spring words. And then I had the word daffodil, and I said, in the spring, daffodils will bloom. And I said, what is a daffodil? And they all said, oh, there's those little flowers. And I said, well, let's check. And I read off the card. And they said, yeah, you're right. They are those little yellow flowers. And I said, but what do you mean they bloom? What does that mean? And they all said, well, they grow. And I said, well, let's check. It says to produce flowers. So when we're talking about them blooming can be used as a verb, or it can have the blooms of a daffodil, meaning the flowers on the daffodil. So immediately we're going right into grammar, talking about nouns and verbs. We're not waiting around, we're just tying everything in. Nice and neat. Nice little neat bow. Then I said, do you think some of the blooms on the daffodil are fragrant? I said, what does fragrant mean? And then we talked about them having a pleasant smell. And I said, also in the spring, we could go to a farm and see some of the foals being born. And I said, what's a foal? And a lot of them didn't know it. So I said, well, let's look at our definition. It's a young horse. So for my 4 and 5-year-olds, I said, why don't you guys go get your journal, and can you draw me a picture of a daffodil? And they all said, yes. And I said, and be sure you label daffodil at the top. Can you also draw some blooms on the daffodil? I said, what color would the blooms be? And they all said, yellow. And I said, could you label it, put bloom beside it? And I said, can you think of a way to show that it's being fragrant? And one of the kids raised their hands and they said, a guy sneezing. And I said, that's perfect. Yeah, draw a little guy sneezing, and be sure you label fragrant beside it. And then I said, I bet you could put a little foal dancing along the daffodils. And they all said, yes, we can do that. So they took their journals and they left. My 3rd graders, let's see, I have a vocabulary map somewhere. My 3rd graders have been doing vocabulary maps. I think it's probably over there by my bag. Hey, Evelyn, can you go over there by my bag and see if you see vocabulary map?
Okay.
My 3rd graders have been doing a vocabulary map since the beginning of the year, so I just gave them their maps and gave them the cards. Yeah, that's it. And they just took it and ran with it. Here's our vocabulary map. So they took these, they took the cards, and they left. My 1st graders, who I knew needed a little bit more, I sat with them and I said, okay, 1st grade, we're going to draw this out. We need to spend a little time with the word foal. So I came over to my whiteboard. I gave them all a piece of paper. And I said, all right, we're going to write the word foal in the middle of the page. So they wrote it. And then I gave them all highlighters, because highlighters are fun and cool. And I highlighted the O-A, and I said, oh, we have a vowel pattern in the word foal. What does O-A sound like? And we all did our Johnny Can Spell cards. And I know if you don't know Johnny Can Spell, look it up. It's a fabulous program that April introduced me to, like 11 or 12 years ago.
Yes, long time.
Yeah. So we did the O-A sounds like O, float a boat. And I said, oh, float. How's that O-A? Boat. Then we started thinking of other words that kind of fold. We did goal. Then we come up with toad. So right here, I'm throwing in a little bit of phonics. And I'm checking, in my mind, I'm thinking, all right, there's phonics for the day. I'm checking that off. And then we divided our paper into fourths. A little bit of fractions math for you here. Then up at the top, we wrote baby horse, because that's what a foal is. Before I let them draw a picture of a baby horse, I said, now you guys need to come up with a sentence. Now this is where my first graders struggle. They get really scared that they're going to spell words wrong and they don't want to do it and they don't want to copy each other. So one of my first graders said, well, I'm going to write, the foal loves his mommy.
Not allowed to come in.
And so she wrote that. I had another one say, the foal eats hay. So she wrote it in her very, very nice handwriting below. But this took, just to do foal with my first graders, it took 30 minutes. So I knew I was not going to do 3 or 4 vocabulary words with them because they were exhausted by the end of this exercise. I gave what I knew my kids needed. Tomorrow, hopefully we'll get 2, but it doesn't matter if you've got some who are getting 4 or 5 done in a day. If you know that you need to spend more time on some other skills with this, then you definitely need to do it. So, going on with our grammar.
Can I stop you real quick?
Yes, please do.
Talk about working together and finding a buddy. The way that Krista did the phonics with the forward, I would have never done, and it's an amazing idea, and she just showed it to me right now. So when I do this word with even my second graders, I'm going to pull that in because that's an amazing idea, and that shows the importance of having a buddy and working together and sharing ideas.
Right, and April's going to totally do this a different way, and I can't wait to see because she doesn't even do the vocabulary maps anymore. You do some.
I
other
do it in a
things, too.
notebook. Mm-hmm.
Right. So yes, please work with your buddy, and then get together when you get done with it and share what happened. I mean, that's very important to assess, and at the end of the day, maybe even write a little journal about how your lessons went. Because I know we're exhausted at the end of the day, but if you go back and look a week or 2 later when you're getting ready to do another unit, you can think, oh yeah, I remember doing that and how powerful it was.